Hola. Buenos días. Mi nombre es Laura Radenoff. Good morning. I'm Laura Radenoff, and I serve gratefully on your board of trustees as your eagle-eyed financial wizard, also less dramatically known as your treasurer. Bienvenidos a la Iglesia Unitaria Universalista de Fresno. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno, California on this, our annual Summer Jazz Service Sunday. Welcome to everyone on our virtual church campus. Welcome to everyone on our Alluvial Avenue church campus. We are one congregation in many places. Somos una congregación en muchos lugares. We acknowledge that our Alluvial Avenue church campus sits within the traditional homelands of the Yokuts and Mono peoples, the original and ongoing stewards of this land. As Unitarian Universalists, we welcome you, no matter your race, culture of origin, age, spiritual background, religious beliefs, disabilities, the amount of money in your bank account, your level of education, or your neurodiversity. You are welcome with or without documentation. We welcome you in the fullness of your beautiful humanity: lesbian, gay, bi, trans, non-binary, gender fluid, or questioning. Todos son bienvenidos aquí. If you are on our virtual campus and you wish to share a personal joy, sorrow, concern, or gratitude on both the virtual and Alluvial Avenue campuses, type it now in the chat box. Our ushers will write them down and give them to Tim so he can include them later in the service. If you don't type your joy, concern, sadness, or gratitude in chat now, there isn't time for that to happen. Now, in the chat box, in person, or in the silence of your heart, let's take a moment to greet one another.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Buenos dias. Welcome, as Laura said, on this, our annual summer jazz service. I'm excited that this is one of the few services I can actually wear a stole that's ablaze with flame, because this reminds me of summer in Fresno. Woo, it's hot. It is my pleasure to introduce the person who will introduce our guest musicians this morning. We are in for a treat, and I will let Maestro Melinda tell you all.
Yes, it is indeed a treat, an honor, and a pleasure to introduce our guest musicians this morning. You're in, as has been said multiple times already at least, you are in for a treat today. So, David Alice at the piano. He's a pianist, composer, arranger, teacher. He leads the monthly jazz mass at Hope Lutheran Church, plays in a number of groups around town, and many of you have probably heard him. He won't be speaking today, but you'll have heard him announcing and pitching for money on KVPR. and he has his own jazz show in the evening on Sunday. So check that out. Dr. Otto Lee is a saxophonist, educator, and composer. He has many degrees, including a DMA in jazz performance and pedagogy from the University of Colorado. He works as a freelance musician throughout the Valley and the Bay Area, and he has quite a few faculty positions currently at UC Davis and Fresno Pacific. So let's give both of them a big, warm UUCF welcome. And now let's let the sound of the tincture take us to that quiet place within.
Good morning. I'm Sydney Story, and as a member of the Worship Arts team, it is my pleasure to join with others in assisting in our service this morning. Welcome to everyone here on Alluvial Avenue, on our Alluvial Avenue Sanctuary, and welcome to everyone on our virtual campus. For those of you joining us online, please remember that it is our loving intent to worship together that unites us and sanctifies our space. So we on Alluvial Avenue are as close to you and you as close to us as if you were physically present. If you have easy access to a chalice or a candle, perhaps in a few moments you would like to light it in your own private sacred space. Our worship service this morning focuses on summer and on jazz. I think of jazz as an art form in which creative improvisation interacts with a continuing structure. Unitarian Universalism and its most important symbol, the flaming chalice, illustrate that metaphor. The chalice itself exemplifies the structure: firm, continuing, predictable, changing only slowly and with great deliberation, like our 6 sources and 7 principles, hopefully in the future maybe an 8th. The flame, leaping upward and forever rapidly changing, represents improvisation as our minds and hearts soar, creating our own personally satisfying interpretation of our faith. Please rise in body and or in spirit and join together in singing our song of praise, What a Wonderful World.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies crying, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow are pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies crying, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
I invite us to remain standing and let's say together the words of our mission statement. La misión de la Iglesia Unitaria Universalista de Fresno es amar inclusivamente, crecer espiritualmente, servir con gratitud y trabajar por la justicia. The mission of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno is to love inclusively, grow spiritually, serve gratefully, and work for justice. Please be seated. So anyone who, for any amount of time, is part of any faith community, you know that there are times of saying goodbye, and there are times of new beginnings. And we are at such a spiritual threshold in our church community this morning. Exactly 1 year ago, a beloved member of our congregation, Eva Vioto, stepped from the congregation and became a member of our core staff team, taking over our Sunday morning children's programming. Because of the pandemic and so many months not being on campus, most of our families were not connected to the church, and the few that were connected only virtually. Eva, along with some great helpers, was able to rebuild our program and give us a firm foundation as we look ahead into the future. Because of your generosity, we are able to now fund this Sunday morning position, not just on Sunday morning, but as a full-time position that will focus on families, but also our adult programming. And Eva, because of her own professional life, was unable to continue and take on that full-time role. So today is a day of saying goodbye to Eva in this spiritual leadership role as she steps back into the congregation and returns as a member of our worship arts team. I find it difficult to put into words the depth of spirituality, the commitment to our kiddos, and just the enlightened leadership that Eva brought to our church for the last year. And so I invite you to express your appreciation to Eva as she comes to speak to us. Eva.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, good morning, everybody. First, I would like to take this time to thank each and every child that ever came through the Sunday morning religious exploration program. It is because of the presence of each and every individual child that I was given the opportunity to hold sacred space for them and with them. Without the children, there is no program. So thank you, each and every one of you that is here. Thank you, each and every one that's watching virtually. Thank you. Second of all, I would like to thank the parents, guardians, and adults that participated and contributed with their time and energy to the program, for engaging in family fun events and attending Sunday morning with their children so they could attend the religious exploration program. As a religious exploration coordinator, I thank you. As a parent myself, I see your efforts and your energy for bringing your children every Sunday. Thank you. And last, I would like to thank Reverend Tim. Thank you. I would like to thank Chloe. Thank you. I would like to thank Desmond, who's not here, but who have played a very important role in the team that we had. And I would also like to thank the congregation, each and every one of you, thank you for believing in me and supporting me and my team as we developed our children's program. Thank you for trusting me with such a precious task of building a safe and sacred and fun environment for the future of our church, which is our children. So thank you.
And we have a gift from the congregation that Troy is going to bring forward. You'll be able to open it later, but one of those gifts, Eva, is a chalice that is in the shape of two open hands ready to receive the blessings of the universe. And that is our wish for you as you step into this new chapter of your life, that you will be open to the many blessings of the universe that will be yours. As I said, there are times of goodbyes and endings, and then there are times of beginnings and welcomes. So as our slide changes from thank you to welcome, I am so excited for this congregation that Karen Polnitz, a beloved member of this church, active member of our worship arts team, has accepted our invitation to step into the newly created full-time position of Director of Lifelong Learning. We have already learned so much from you, Karen, over the years as you've been leading worship and sharing that extraordinary deep well of spirituality, which is your taproot. We have been thrilled as you have brought movement into our worship, reminding us that the body is also sacred. I cannot wait to see how you take the foundation that Eva is lovingly giving to you, and you bring this foundation alive in new ways that we cannot even imagine. Karen, please come forward. Please welcome your new Director of Lifelong Learning.
Buenos dias. Good morning, everyone. I am so excited for this new adventure, and Eva, I wanted to share with you that your spirit has always spoken to mine in a really beautiful and deep way, and to take this flame from you is a true honor. And thank you to the congregation for this incredible opportunity. I am overjoyed and so grateful to be able to serve in this way. Thank you.
So Eva, this is the chalice that every Sunday morning you and the children have lit to begin your sacred time together. Would you and a child of your choice light the chalice that represents our children and our religious exploration program?
Isaiah, would you come and light our chalice, please? Your brothers can come too if you want. They travel in a pack. Yeah. Come on down. I promise they're a lot more excited in the classroom than this.
And so symbolically, beautiful. And as Karen holds the chalice that represent our children and our religious exploration program, we invite Eva to pick up your personal chalice. As you do so, this chalice represents the light that is within you and the light that you will carry forth into the world as you continue your own professional career. I'm going to ask you, though, to place that chalice back on the table, because this represents your now coming back within the congregation as a beloved member and as a member of our worship arts team. And Karen, you have a message to invite the children to join you.
My friends, we have some very exciting water activities waiting for us out on the lawn. So if you are ready, would you join us as we are sung out by the congregation today?
Hold you in our love as you go, as you
So all the kids, come on down and let's head out.
peace as you go, to nurture the spark of your precious life. We hold you in our love as you go.
Let's do it once more, Lorenzo. One more time.
We hold you in our love as you go, as you go. May your heart be at peace as you go, to nurture the spark of your precious life. We hold you in our love as you go.
Of the everyday, every moment act of breathing, Oprah Winfrey reminds us, breathe, let go, and remind yourself that this very moment is the only one you know you have for sure. And so I invite us to take in a centering breath, breathing in peace. We hold a moment, we breathe out love. And again, breathing in peace, we hold a moment, we breathe out love. One more time together, breathing in peace, we hold, we breathe out love. As we continue breathing together in this space made sacred by our humanness, by the love that is within us, among us, and yes, beyond us. I invite you to let the breath carry you back over the last 7 days, the gift that week has been, and a question. In the last week, how did you show compassion to someone experiencing problems or pain? For some of us, this has been a joyful week. It's been a week that held things for which we are grateful. It has also been a painful week, or for many of us, a concerning week. And that's why every Sunday we create space to hold whatever it is you brought with you this morning, whatever it is that you are feeling. We honor that. Some of us stop at the small table at the entranceway to the church and fill out a card. Others of us type their joy or concern, sorrow or gratitude into the chat box on our virtual campus. And so as we prepare to know what is alive among us, collectively though, I want to name that we continue grieving the Roe v. Wade decision, which is nothing less than a brutal attack against the rights of women and all people who have the ability to become pregnant. This summer must be a summer of galvanization, what Planned Parenthood is calling the summer of dissent. We also feel grief and outrage at the Supreme Court decision limiting the ability of the executive branch of government to protect air quality and use common sense regulations to fight climate change. This is an attack against sustainability, the environment, and all life on our planet. It is an attack against science. It is an attack against sane and responsible governing. And in the midst of this grief and outrage, we also celebrate the swearing in of Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, the first Black woman to sit on the highest court in the land. Alive in the space, Paula S. is feeling a mix of bitter-sweet emotions as she says they will leave this week to spread the ashes of my parents, Bernadette and Arthur Siegel, in the Grand Teton National Park, the most majestic park for two majestic Unitarian Universalists. We remember them. Patty P. just came back from the Unitarian Universalist General Assembly in Portland with lots of ideas about implementing the 8th principle, let the action begin, she says. Cleo and Dominic are joyful that their granddaughter and fiance are visiting from Santa Monica. Welcome. So glad to have you with us this morning. Cheyenne has 3 things. She had a ton of fun at the Unitarian Universalist Carnival yesterday, including dunking me in the dunking tank. Cheyenne is also excited to begin work again on Tuesday. Blessings as that begins. And Cheyenne wants to thank the church and its members for supporting her during this difficult time. And Margaret says she is grateful for having been able to bring her mini horse, Benji, to yesterday's carnival. It was great to see folks in person. It was wonderful to see you and to know this morning that you're on our virtual campus up in the foothills. We remember, too, our beloved church members and friends who are living with health challenges, compromised mobility, or other impacts to their well-being. We lift up first Donna P., who has been hospitalized since May 20th. I was able to spend time with Donna earlier this week. She asked me to bring to you her love. She also wanted you to know how much it has meant to her to know that she is remembered by her friends and all those who don't know her, but every week we hold her in light and in love. And so for a moment, I'm going to ask us, in whatever way is meaningful for you, whether that be prayer or intention, let us hold Donna as she continues her great struggle with very complex health issues. So for a moment in silence, we hold Donna P. This morning, we also remember on our virtual campus Valerie J., who is recovering at home after scheduled surgery, Edith H., William H., Laura G., Glenda R., Pat M., Al G., Brandon E., and Josephine J. And so for all that has been shared, for all that we're holding in the sacred silence of our own beating hearts, and for all those who on this day have no one to remember them, no one to lift up their names with gentleness or love, we light this, our candle of community. By our remembering, may we and they be blessed. As is our custom, we light a second candle. This candle burns for the 6.34 million citizens of this planet who have lost their lives in the pandemic, which is ongoing. Over 1 million of those citizens of this country. It is a custom that at the first anniversary of the passing of a member of this church into the mysteries of death that we light a candle of remembrance. Today, for the month of July, we light two. First, we light this candle for the extraordinary, beautiful, long, and meaningful life of Connie Pitt. Connie, a beloved church leader, friend to many, and was a pillar of this congregation along with Jack for decades, and decades. We light a second candle of remembrance for Nellie Ann Rothrock. We light it for the lights she brought into this world, for that sparkle in her eye, for that mischievous grin. We also honor her as the only member of this congregation ever to live through two pandemics. She was a child in 1919, and when she passed from this life last year, she was over 102 years old. We lift up Nellie Ann Rothrock. Let us join our voices in our call to meditation, the meditation on breathing.
When I breathe in peace. When I breathe out love. Quando respiro paz. Quando exhalo amor. When I breathe in peace. When I breathe out love. Quando respiro paz. Quando exhalo amor. When I breathe in peace. When I breathe out love. Quando respiro paz. Quando exhalo amor.
In a morning of many words, let the sound of silence bring to us its healing balm.
as we have just heard, jazz requires both improvisation and structure. I want to stress structure for a moment. For our souls and intellects to soar in improvisation, we need a structure, a lot of it. We need a physical plant for which mortgage and utilities must be paid and which must be maintained, sometimes lovingly by volunteer work, but much must also be hired. We also need a human structure, our minister. If I tried to itemize everything that our high energy minister does, we would be here all day. So, our office staff, whose gracious voices set an atmosphere of welcome when people contact us. And don't forget our technicians, whose calm, cool-headed, resourceful knowledge and skills make our virtual campus possible. All these people need to be paid. Recognizing that we need the structure, and the structure costs money, let us join together in our words of offering. If not us, then who? If not open hearts, then what? If not now, then when? If not here, then where? If not generously, then how? If not us, then who? A slide will appear showing the various ways your contributions can be made electronically. And here on Alluvial Avenue, ushers with baskets will be at the doors as you leave the sanctuary at the end of the service. With gratitude for the presence of this church in our lives, please give generously. May the church continue to be worthy of the many forms of your gifts.
In a moment, we will have a sermon that will be offered with words and many different voices and two extraordinary jazz musicians. But knowing that, I'm thinking for those of us who need a moment to just stretch, let's just rise, embody our spirit for a moment. And we can do a left hand shake, a right hand shake, if you can and want to, a left foot shake, a right foot shake, and the most important, the butt wiggle, and a deep breath as our arms go up. And as we release, we sink back into the embrace of our chairs. As the Jewish scriptures remind us in the book of Ecclesiastes, to everything there is a season and a time for every purpose under heaven. To everything there is a season, and this is the season of summer. Summertime, the season when, as Latinx poet Carmen Tafoya writes, summer is when we feel ourselves sizzle on the streets, sassy as salsa, and fry our huevos rancheros on the sidewalk. For some, summer is Yosemite, Morro Bay, or our backyard after the sun has set. For some, summer is substandard housing with no air conditioning, or gunshots, or a nighttime too dangerous to step outside to catch a breeze. Today, instead of our sermon, we will offer an exploration of this season's spirituality through summer-themed words and music. This morning, we chose for our jazz to be instrumental, so that rather than focusing on the summer-themed lyrics, we can explore the sensations of summer captured in every note and in the interplay between piano and saxophone. As we do so, let us remember that jazz arose in America from a joining of elements of European music with the rhythms and vocal stylings the enslaved Africans brought with them from their homelands, and which they used for spiritual sustenance as they performed brutal labors for their white captors. While jazz has now come to be loved around the world, we acknowledge that the sounds were originally reviled by white slave owners and overseers. Jazz remains one of the many rich contributions to our country's culture by Black Americans. And so, words and music.
Summertime and the living's easy. You know, I saw a post the other day that said summer really isn't that great. We're just programmed to love it because we waited all school year for summer break to arrive, and really the season is terrible. And I get it. It's hot, and I'm sweaty, and is that another fire? And I'm hot, and we're sweaty, and now the ash is in the sky, and we have to stay in. And I don't know if they told you this, but most adults, yeah, they have to work during the summer, too. No. Yep. No. It's true. No, I'm so sorry. But still, right now, summer is sweet. Because every day, my baby, and he is grown and bold and all his own. But every day, my son falls asleep across my lap, dreaming of popsicles. After I take a nap, I'm going to get up, and it's light out, and it's happy time, and I can get a popsicle. I can get a popsicle. And sure enough, it's as if he tells time by the shadows that say it's officially the hour to step outside with an icy treat and sit in the shade. We sit quietly in the afternoon sun. Gentle beckon of the whispering leaves and a wind chime calling us home and home and home again. Can I get just one bite of yours? Even if they're the same flavor? Sure. We share as the juice drops off elbows and into the ground. The sticky earth makes us dance, and we are up. Summer breeze makes me feel fine, blowing through the jasmine in my mind. Swaying back to the water, I twirl our bodies in the crisp blue, and we watch the waves swirl from his arm. My father is holding him. Little then, he gently flows his body through space. Do you remember, he asks, what it was like to float inside your mama's womb? And now I remember sweet summers as a girl. I'm floating on the Russian River, my own excitement as I ran up the boardwalk, hot feet worth it for an ice cream bar from the snack shack. We are camping, and summer means the days are short, but the nights are long, and we travel to the point to watch the stars come out. Each light joins the chorus, a celebration of all our sticky hands and splashes, an honor of the sun that gives us play, and a welcome to the night that cools and calms the heart. In that moment, between summer day and summer night, summer feels eternal. Maybe I've been programmed, but there's something about it that still holds the magic of that youthful pause in time. Here we are floating in waves of sunshine and stars. Here we are eternal. Here there is peace and joy. We're out here having fun in the warm California sun.
You know, I have to improvise a moment. I just saw something so wonderful. I was sitting over there, you see, and I could see out the front doors. And there were 4 on the sidewalk, 4 baby geese walking along like that, and one more about half grown. How fortunate could I get? It was wonderful. Structure. One thing you can say about summer in Fresno is it is hot. Very hot. So how can we improvise to cope with the lassitude which often accompanies 3-digit temperatures? I think summer can be a time for improvisation. Perhaps you can tinker with your schedule. Now, if your stage of life now requires a strict temporal structure, maybe some portions of it, weekends, vacation, early morning, late afternoon, will allow enough flexibility for creative improvisation. Why not get up early enough to enjoy a cool morning and then take a rest in the late afternoon? Why not watch a ball game in the late afternoon and have a later dinner? In Spain, dinners can be as late as 9 o'clock after an early evening of wine and tapas. How about hanging up a hummingbird feeder on the porch or patio? Hummingbirds are a delight to watch, and then take the time to watch them and to listen to their garden possession songs. What I like to do is to concentrate on wonderful things that happened to me in the summer, and I'll share 2 of those with you. Every summer, I hold a sort of contest with myself to see if I can find the smallest possible praying mantis. Oh, that's a wonderful choice, yeah. That's wonderful. This summer was not a brilliant success. My first mantis was about 1 inch long. But one year, I saw one so tiny, it was still translucent. It had no color. It could not have been out of its egg very long. And though it was very tiny and nearly transparent, it had all of the aplomb and arrogance that we expect in a praying mantis. And one year, in late summer, I actually got to see a female praying mantis deposit an egg sac, a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Then, every year, a pair of doves nests in a rain gutter outside my back door. I named them Dorothy and Dimitri, and I find it very restorative to see Dorothy sitting peacefully on her nest. I like to think she's meditating. One year, I got to see Dimitri bring Dorothy a lovely gift, a long, flexible reed, which she received graciously and tucked in a circle around her nest. And of course, I get to see baby doves grow up. I hope that for you too, there will be little moments illuminating your summer. I recall a quote somewhat modified from Albert Camus. Even in the depths of winter, I find I have within myself an invincible summer. May you all enjoy an invincible summer.
Summer can be hard in the Central Valley, this place of abundance and scarcity. These are the voices of summer from 3 poets of the Valley.
The first poem comes from Gary Soto, who has been called a poet of poverty in America. Here he writes in the voice of a field worker.
The Elements of San Joaquin by Gary Soto. The wind sprays pale dirt into my mouth, the small, almost invisible scars on my hands. The pores in my throat and elbows have taken in a seed of dirt of their own. After a day in the grape fields near Rolinda, a fine silt washed by sweat has settled into the lines on my wrists and palms. Already, I am becoming the valley, a soil that sprouts nothing for any of us.
In Fresno, my dear Vang, winner of the 2016 Walt Whitman Award and recent finalist for the Pulitzer Prize, writes, "There is no room for wanderers, no place for soul searching on the electric wires and rooftops of abandoned homes, or the empty warehouses lit with graffiti, or the littered pavement leading to a liquor store, or the railroad tracks trailing to some faraway place. In Fresno, we live with its dry winter's cold hinged to the back of our hands, its blossoms whispering of another harvest, its fields tunneling dust in the middle of July, its streets of sycamores and maples and ginkgos that live to shed another fall. In a season of scarcity, the wind still blows to carry us through the longest nights. It is this breeze that calls to us in the middle of downtown as we look back only to find ourselves breathtaking and alone."
Our Valley by Philip Levine. We don't see the ocean, not ever. But in July and August, when the worst heat seems to rise from the hard clay of this valley, you could be walking through a fig orchard, when suddenly the wind cools and for a moment you get a whiff of salt, and in that moment you can almost believe something is waiting beyond the Pacheco Pass, something massive, irrational, and so powerful even the mountains that rise east of here have no word for it.
You probably think I'm nuts saying that the mountains have no word for ocean. But if you live here, you begin to believe they know everything. They maintain that huge silence we think of as divine, a silence that grows in autumn when snow falls slowly between the pines and the wind dies to less than a whisper, and you can barely catch your breath because you're thrilled and terrified.
You have to remember, this isn't your land. It belongs to no one, like the sea you once lived beside and thought was yours. Remember the small boats that bobbed out as the waves rode in, and the men who carved a living from it, only to find themselves carved down to nothing.
Now you say this is home, so go ahead, worship the mountains as they dissolve into dust. Wait on the wind, catch a scent of salt. Call it our life.
my mom was passionately Roman Catholic, but I think she had a secret part of pagan in her because she loved the turning of the seasons and the wisdom that each season holds. She used to say to me when I was a little child, when the season changed, she would always say, make sure you plant a prayer. Make sure you plant a prayer at the beginning of every season. And so when summer begins, I remember my mom's advice, and I plant a prayer, I plant an intention, what in the Jewish mystical tradition of Kabbalah they call a kavinah, a sacred seed of intent. At the beginning of this summer, I planted what I think is a profound seed for the summer and an intention to eat as much fresh Fresno State corn as humanly possible. And so as the summer knows what intention you plant, I invite you to enter our final song this morning with a sacred intention, a hope, a sacred seed, or as my mom would say, plant a prayer. What is it that you want to take root and grow this summer? Don't tell anyone, but the summer knows. David Aus, Dr. Otto Lee. Please remain standing, and we're going to end by singing. Then we extinguish the chalice, and then we'll send you off into your summer day. We sing this version of America the Beautiful, usually around this time of year with the 4th of July. I don't think these words have ever mattered more than these Unitarian Universalized words mean, given all that's happening in our country today. Let's sing How Beautiful Our Spacious Skies.
How beautiful our spacious skies, our amber ways of grain, our purple mountains as they rise above the fruitful plain. America, America, life's gracious gifts abound, and more we're grateful for life's bounty all around. Indigenous and immigrant, to all who harm's been done, oh, may we never rest content till all are truly one. America, America, life grand that we may be, community with dignity from sea to shining sea. How beautiful, sincere lament, the wisdom born of tears, the courage called for to repent, the bloodshed through the years. America, America, life grand that we may be, a nation blessed with none oppressed, true land of liberty. How beautiful this continent, this island in the sea, our dream of peace, non-violence, all people paid justly. America, America, life grand that we may be, a country dear where people here all live in harmony.
Please be seated.
Time together draws to a close. Please join in our chalice extinguishing words, led by Karen and Troy.
Extinguimos esta llama, pero no la luz de la verdad, el calor de comunidad o el fuego de nuestro compromiso. Estos los llevaremos en el corazón.
We extinguish this flame.
We extinguish this flame, but not the
light of truth,
the warmth of
community,
or the
fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we meet again. This is an appropriate time to tell you how much I have enjoyed participating in our service this morning, particularly with my worship arts teammates. What a pleasure this has been. I hope you've enjoyed this morning as much as I have, and that you will return to us again, either here in the sanctuary or on our virtual campus on August 7th, when our official church year begins. We await, with breathless anticipation, Reverend Tim's spectacular improvisation of reminders and announcements.
Everybody, let's appreciate Sydney Story, Worship Associate. And again, let's give it up for David Aus and Otto Lee, our guest musicians. Here are your reminders extraordinaire. Our Sunday services and children's programming will be suspended for the next 4 weeks, But we do have recommendations where to attend worship around the country at other Unitarian Universalist congregations. And then we will be back here, as Sydney said, on Sunday, August 7th, as our new church year begins with Sunday services and our children's Sunday morning programs. Remember, we allow our socially distanced folks to leave the Alluvial Sanctuary first through these side doors. The receiving line will be out on the side there, and then the rest of you can exit through whatever door you want to choose. Outside in our sauna will be coffee hour. We hope you'll stay for some conversation. And for folks who are new or newish, inside where it's not a sauna because we have air conditioning, and also long-timers are invited to join Patty Potter for our after-service sermon discussion table with questions. It's also a chance for newcomers if you want to ask about the church as well. But there'll be a conversation about jazz and summertime happening inside the sanctuary. Reminding you the Naroma Walker Youth Library Summer Reading Program is underway. Last but not least, we have a tradition. If this is your first, second, or third time with us on Alluvial Ave, we're going to invite you in a moment to rise so that we can welcome you. We don't do it to embarrass you. We're genuinely pleased and delighted that of any place you could be this Sunday morning, you chose to be here. So if this is your first, second, or third time with us, would you rise for just a moment? We won't leave you standing alone for long. Welcome, 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 welcome. I invite the rest of the congregation to rise for closing words and our sung benediction. If you came in a pod, please join hands. If not, hands over your precious beating hearts. Go now in peace. May you leave this place knowing you are good and knowing you are loved. Take your love, share it with the world. Stay safe until we meet again. And may the longtime sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and that pure light within you guide your way on. Blessed be. Amen.
May we have safe passage, safe passage. May we have safe passage on our way. Safe passage on your way, wanderer. Safe passage on your way, searcher. Safe passage on your way, sweet pilgrim. Safe passage on our way. May we have safe passage, safe passage. May we have safe passage on our way.
Shalom and assalamu alaikum.